Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hello, everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend, or not happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope everyone's having a good Memorial Day weekend. Lots of people taking the week off, but not me. I'm ready to broadcast. I'm ready to rock. And hopefully we talk a little bit of MMA here. We don't have any events this week, which is kind of amazing. But I am going to take a look at some of the fights here taking place over the summer. So if you are on Happs, if you're on YouTube, if you are on Facebook, Twitter, I know Periscope's no more, but I still have a Twitter stream somehow. Certainly not ideal, but it's there. But I'm also on Happs. Come see me on Happs. It's a free world-class broadcasting tools community, eager to collaborate, and a simple way to get supported financially. And Happs is looking for sportscasters. So wherever you are, feel free to subscribe. All right, well, that is out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and pick fights. And like I said, feel free to play along, if you will. Of course, not in the right window. First to recap, excuse me, last week. Got a little coffee here. Not COVID, don't worry. Font versus Garbrandt, I kind of thought a lot of these went the way I thought they were going to go. Rob Font did beat Cody Garbrandt. I did pick that. Carla Esparza won her fight. I don't know what I picked with the Norma Dumont, Felicia Spencer, but I have a feeling I picked Felicia, and she did not win. Jack Hermanson, I did pick that correctly, beating Edmund Shabazian. I think Shabazian's just kind of too young here to be thrown in with the big dogs, but that's kind of what happens. And I did pick Court McGee to beat Claudio Silva. He did that. Silva, hadn't been fighting in quite a while, and I think that's about, excuse me, all the fights I have picked. So let's talk about our first event here that I'm going to pick. UFC Vegas 29, Rozenstruik versus Sakai. A lot of events happening over the summer, and I'm just going to go through a few of them here. Let's take a look at some fights down the card. Heavyweight, Walt Harris versus Marcin Tybura. Walt Harris all of a sudden has 2 losses in a row. Alexander Volkov, Alistair Overeem. Before that, he had a nice little win over Alexei Olenek and Sergey Spivak. He had a nice little win streak going, Daniel Spitz. So let's take a look here at Tybura. Tybura doesn't look like a world beater, but he does good, man. He beat Greg Hardy. That's not a big deal, but he did beat Ben Rothwell. Rothwell on a surge here after winning his fight. He's got some losses in there too. I'm not going to pick any fights today, but I will go over the odds here real quick. Walt Harris is a slight underdog, plus 130, and Tybura a slight favorite, minus 155. Yeah, I can see that. But the main event of that fight, that card rather, Jairzinho Rozenstruik against Augusto Sakai. Rozenstruik did just lost that decision fight. It kind of reminded me of a Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou fight. Not a lot of action, 2 heavy hitters. Didn't really anyone pull the trigger, but Rozenstruik did just lose to Ciryl Gane. Before that, he beats Junior Dos Santos, gets starched by Ngannou. But nice win streak before that. Alistair Overeem, Andre Arlovski, Alan Crowder, Junior Albini, Robert McCarthy. Just goes down the list here. And take a look at Augusto Sakai. He did lose to Alistair Overeem. Alistair kind of rope-a-doped him a little bit, let him punch himself out. But before that, lots of wins. Black Ivanov, Marcin Tybura, Andre Arlovski, and Chase Sherman. I would think the odds would tend to favor Rozenstruik here, and I could be wrong. but I'm not. Minus 135 favorite for Rozenstruik. All right, we'll see how those odds widen when it comes to fight night. All right, next up, PFL 2021. Let's see here. So this will be the fourth show, main card. I want to pick 2 fights on this one. I don't do a whole lot of PFL, but 2 of these guys really have me interested here. Bubba Jenkins and Anthony Pettis. So let's look at the Bubba Jenkins fight. Bubba surprised us all and really took it to Lance Palmer. And I know they wrestled together and whatnot, but that Bubba is moving up from 145 pounds and just looked like a world beater at 155. So, all of a sudden, Bubba's on like a 4-fight win streak. Now, granted, Lance is the only one I've ever heard of on that win streak, and he will be going up against Bobby Moffett. Bobby Moffett, also moving up to 155 pounds, has losses over Bryce Mitchell and Enrique Barzola before being released from the UFC. For that, he had a few wins, nothing to really talk about. I would say Bubba to be a sizable favorite here, and the odds are not out. Okay. So I would think when the odds do come out that, I think he would look good. Okay. Again, if you are listening, please feel free to talk about the fights as well. Let's see here. I think I'm going to switch gears. And as I'm doing this, I may try a little clubhouse action just to see what's up, see if I can do it. I think somebody messed with my volume button. So, all right. First off, let's take a look here, though. Excuse me. Anthony Pettis taking on Alex Martinez. Anthony Pettis got beat by Clay Collard, who I'd never heard of before then. Before that, he had 2 wins in the UFC, Alex Moreno and Donald Cerrone. Interesting here. I'd like to see a little more of Alex Martinez. So he's a PFL fighter. He had a win last year. Oh, this year. Oh, in April. Okay. Sorry, against Loik Radzabov. Wow, he's never lost. Interesting. I wonder if there's odds out on this yet. I don't know. There's no odds yet on this as well. Let me refresh just to make sure, but no odds. Interesting. This is very good. Okay. Well, let's see. Oh, excuse me. All right. Let's try. I'm going to try a little clubhouse, see what happens here. Ooh. Clubhouse is kind of a strange thing, but I do like it. Let's see if I can pick. Nope. I have 8 invites. Oh, geez. Oh, I have 8 additional. Okay. So I'm just going to, the rest of these are UFC summer preview. And, I don't think there's any more outside of the UFC. So, interesting. And, all right. So, the phone mic is off. All right. Let's see what's up. Okay. Oh, man, this is a good one. UFC 263. What a card, man. And this is coming up on June 12th. So, just a couple more short weeks. Awesome. Leon Edwards, first fight of the night here that I'm going to pick is Leon Edwards taking on Nate Diaz. My opinion on this has it's been heard before. I I don't know, without picking the fight, how do you say this? I don't think Nate's got a chance, honestly, but excuse me, he has surprised me in the past. But let's take a look here at Leon. Hasn't lost since he fought the champ Kamaru Usman back in 2015. It was a unanimous decision, but he was on a tear. But really, Rafael dos Anjos is the biggest name he fought before nearly poking Belal Muhammad's eye out, but I mean, he's got wins over Gunnar Nelson, Donald Cerrone, who shouldn't really be at 170 pounds anyway. So he may be a bit overrated. And it wasn't like, I don't think it was a split decision. No, it was a unanimous decision loss against the champ, Kamaru Usman. Like I said, that was a million years ago. And then Nate Diaz, I mean, come on, dude. Just lost to Masvidal, beat Anthony Pettis, lost to Conor McGregor, but that's back in 2016. So I don't know. I wonder if there's odds on this yet. No. I would imagine it's going to be a pretty wide margin. I'm sure there are probably fights out there, or I'm sorry, sites out there that have the odds, but just not this. Demian Maia taking on Belal Muhammad. So it is interesting that Belal's on this card. So you would think if Nate Diaz fell out, Belal should be able to slide in there, you'd think, and they'd probably find another opponent for Maia because there's interest in the rematch of that fight. But Maia did lose to some ground and pound here to Gilbert Burns back in 2020. It would be almost more than a year ago. I didn't realize that. But he had 3 wins in a row. Ben Askren, right for his hip surgery. Anthony Rocco, Martin Lyman, good. And he did take the champ all the way to a decision, but it was, of course, a loss. Belal, like I said, just get his eye nearly poked out by Leon Edwards. Oh, Jay, guess what? Okay, am I at Table Rock this holiday? I'm not there yet, so my family's there. I think they're actually eating at Flat Creek tonight without me, right in your neighborhood. So I will be there, though. I'll be there hopefully tomorrow. I ended up having to work, which is not cool, but I will be there. Yeah, for sure. Ready to rock on Table Rock. Ready to Table Rock. How about that? So really, he hasn't lost. Belal hasn't lost since that Jeff Neal fight, and that was January 2019. So let's see what the odds are. And no, they're not out either. I guess I'm not going to go over the odds anymore, really. But I would think this would be a kind of a pick 'em. Too bad for me that my family left. It's all right, man. I'm there for a few days, though. I'm super excited. This is my man Jay Opera here, coming in from I can't remember the town now. It's Cape something. It's not Cape Fear. It's not Cape Fear. I don't know. I keep thinking of Cape Fear. I know if I'm there, I'm not like in a Branson state of mind, but it is too bad for me. But Jay, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you. Yes, I will have a good time with my family. You have a good Cape Fair. It is Cape. That's why I was thinking Cape Fear. Cape Fair. I'm such a dork. All right. Awesome. Next up, flyweight rematch. Deiveson Figueiredo against Brandon Moreno. This was a barn burner. It ended up a point deduction. But yeah, which led it to a draw. And both these guys made a really quick turnaround, like less than a month. And Figueiredo has a little trouble making weight. I got Tristan here. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute Tristan if you want to say hi. I need to know if you could hear me actually.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good, awesome. Okay, I think last time we tried this. Feel free to chime in. I'm just talking about Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. So for that, Figueiredo on a tear, beats Joseph Benavidez twice. Of course, he did miss weight during that time. Hadn't lost since UCF Omega back in 2019, but just beating guys left and right. Tim Elliott, Pantoja, John Moraga. So interesting here. And then Brandon, this kid, the assassin baby, he does well, man. And I was a fan of his. I think he came to the UFC and he got released and they came back to the UFC. But I believe it was on the season of The Ultimate Fighter as well. Yeah, so he's got notable wins here. Louis Smolka, Ryan Benoit, Dustin Ortiz, of course, these are all at featherweight. And it's really just these last few fights. He's he's just really come on. And, that quick win over Brandon Royval, Jussier Famaga, Kaikara France. So I imagine the odds, since it was a draw, I would say that the odds will be pretty tight there. And be an interesting fight. It'll be a good fight, but I don't know. You know what? It's hard to say which fight I'm more excited for. Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori is right up there. It is a rematch. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's a rematch from some time ago. I think that, I'm not making MMA fight picks right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up a little bit and change my background, What should I change it to? Everyone's tired of the Bernie one. Or Modern House. So those of you on Clubhouse, you can watch this on Happs TV, and you can see a live broadcast there, or on Twitter at Aaron Says What at Aaron Says What 1. So that's AARONSAYSWHAT 1. But all my links are on AaronSaysWhat.com, and then click on the MMA Fight Picks tab. So Israel Adesanya, man. I had a disappointing loss against Jan Blachowicz, but Jan was big, and I called that, and everyone thought that Israel was going to pull a miracle off. But, man, the difference in weight in those guys, all Jan had to do was really lean on him. Israel didn't have the proper time to put on weight. He went in there thinking it wouldn't matter. It mattered. But, before that, he really hasn't lost. Gosh, he's undefeated in the UFC besides that. And the win against Marvin Vettori back in April 2018, was a split. So, interesting. But wins over Brad Tavares, Derek Brunson, nobody gave him any hope in those fights. Anderson Silva, that was a pick-up. Anderson's kind of in the end of his career there. Kelvin Gastelum, Robert Whitaker, Yoel Romero, Paulo Costa, a who's who in the middleweight division. This should be an exciting matchup. Marvin Vettori, his last loss was Israel. Before that, comes back and beats Cesar Sierra, Andrew Sanchez, Carl Robertson, Jack Hermanson. And most recently Kevin Holland, but that was a short notice fight, and Kevin Holland really, Derek Brunson showed him the what's the word here? Showed him the path to victory, if you will. So Woodson Zalal, I don't know what Woodson Zalal is. Can you clear that up for me? Maybe it's something I said or I read too fast. I'm not really sure. Yeah, no odds, of course, yet. This one could be tight, too. Neither guy's lost in the middleweight division since they lost Walt. So, can I reply to that? Okay. I wonder if that replies on Twitter. I'm not really sure. But thanks for watching, Jack White, and that's at Jack_White _12. Well, you know what? I'm the guy that's Aaron Says What 1, so whatever. UFC Vegas 29. I'm really gonna just talk about one fight here, and that is the Korean Zombie Chan Sung Jung against Dan Ige. Ige getting that big fight finally, and it's very exciting. He certainly deserves it. He just got picked apart by Brian Ortega last October, talking about the Korean Zombie. For that, he beats a short notice Frankie Edgar, and I did not like that fight because Frankie was on his way down to 135, and it did not look good for him. It's got wins over Hanani Makano. Of course, he does have a loss to Yair Rodriguez the last second of the 5th round, and what a crazy-ass fight that was. And I don't remember who was winning leading up to that. I just remember the finish, really. And, of course, he's all over the place because he had some obligations in the Korean military. So Dan Ige, all of a sudden, man, after losing to Calvin Kattar, he comes back and just starches Gavin Tucker. And a lot of people are high on Gavin Tucker coming into this, but he, he was the Grizzly veteran in that one, but he hadn't lost since Calvin, and, Edson Barbosa, Marcel Bektik, Kevin Aguilar. This is this is kind of the old guard, the new guard here. And what do I got to say except for I like this fight. I like it a lot, And so I know that sounded silly.
You're on steroids.
Yeah, okay. So let's see here. We're going to talk about UFC Vegas 30. How about that? Gane versus Volkov. So Gane, gosh, I don't know what to think about this. And I'm sorry, let's not jump ahead here. Where we can, I don't care. Yeah, it's funny I didn't choose to talk about the OSP fight, but that's okay. I don't have it queued up. So, of course, Gane, undefeated in the UFC here. Junior Dos Santos was whining that he hit him in the back of the head, and perhaps he did. I don't know. But he did just win that strange decision fight against Rozenstruik. Got wins over Tanner Boser. So, interesting. Volkov, though, basically sent Alistair out of the UFC. And, it wasn't so much that Alistair lost that fight. It's just I think the UFC is paying him a hefty price tag to compete. And, why keep paying him if they don't think he's going to win a title anytime soon? And he's not. I mean, I love Alistair. He follows my Quinta Realty account, but, whatever. But taking a look here, he also has a win over Walt Harris. He lost unanimous decision against Curtis Blade. Curtis Blade just basically showcased his wrestling. Beat Greg Hardy. Good. And he did get knocked out by Derek Lewis. Derek playing possum last second of the end of the fight, the last 11 seconds, and boom, starches him. But he's got knockout. He's got a lot of good wins, man. Verdum, Stephen Struve, Roy Nelson, man. So interesting fight. This is kind of another old guard, new guard. I like these fights because it is an old guard, new guard fight, but I think they're evenly matched in both. The previous fight I talked about as well. Man. Oh, Conor McGregor. Interesting. So now everyone's talking about Poirier McGregor 3. Interesting here. And by the way, if you're on Happs, I think I'm going to do a little bit of a little Happs broadcast later. It has nothing to do with mixed martial arts. How about that? So, oh, gosh. I didn't see that Tai Tuivasa was fighting Greg Hardy. How did I miss that? What? I must have missed some of these, or they must have just got put on here. All right, well, you know what? Let's talk about them anyways. Sean O'Malley coming back, getting a bigger fight here against Louis Smolka. Smolka moving up to 135 pounds. Just beat Quinones. Before that, he loses Casey Kenny, beats Ryan McDonald. So he's kind of off and on. Sean O'Malley just beat Thomas Almeida. And that was a mismatch. It was to get Sean back in the win column here after Marlon Vera. But but before that, he's got wins over Eddie Winland. So this is another big name for him. He didn't do so good against Cheeto Marlon Vera, but we'll see what happens here. Smolka, though, I don't know. Old guard, new guard. Again, it's hard to say that, though, because, Smolka's 29, so, and O'Malley's 26, so it is what it is. Also on this card, Gilbert Burns taking on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I would say this would be for a belt. Again, this is UFC 264. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. So Gilbert Burns, of course, just lost to the champ, former training partners, whatnot. It is what it is. Before that, wins over Tyron Woodley, Demian Maia. Gunnar Nelson. And I think before that, it was mostly lightweight fight. So he has moved up. Of course, this fight taking place at welterweight. And Stephen Thompson, just all of a sudden, everyone's talking about him again after losing to Anthony Pettis back in March of 2019, beating Vincente Luque and beat Jeff Neal, And I don't know that Darren Till was a loss, but I think Till missed weight for that, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, he did get knocked out by Anthony Pettis with lucky shot, maybe not. I don't know. This will be an interesting fight too. This was maybe at 38 years old, Wonderboy's last run if he does not win this fight against Gilbert Burns. An impressive win for Gilbert. He's kind of right back in there. All right, the main event of this, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. So let's not forget, so Dustin did lose to Khabib back in 2019, but before that, hadn't lost since Michael Johnson in 2016. What a tear he's been on. Beats, Dan Hooker in a war, and then he starches Conor in round 2. He starts those kicks, and he went from there. Conor, what do you say about Conor? His last win was Donald Cerrone back in 2018. I'm sorry, 2020, and lots of red here. Lost to, recently loses to Dustin, loses to Khabib, loses to Floyd. But, that was boxing. So his last MMA win before Donald was Eddie Alvarez in 2016 for the strap. That's amazing. And, yeah. Okay, next up. Tai Tuivasa. Okay, so I went a little out of order here because I didn't see this fight was on here. But Tai Tuivasa taking on Greg Hardy. I feel like this is a mismatch. But, both these guys throw leather hard. All of a sudden, Tai Tuivasa has wins over Harry Hunsucker and Stefan Struve. I don't want to see a shoey. Well, this is where he drinks beer out of somebody's shoe. It's like, gross. Greg Hardy. He just lost to Marcin Tybura, beat Maurice Green. Maurice Green, not an impressive man. And then Jorgen De Castro as well. So, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Now, this fight just announced. I caught it today. This is for UFC Vegas 31. Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez. So exciting. But first, let's take a look at the returning. Hang on here. Miesha Tate taking on Marion Reneau. So Marion Reneau, she's had 3 losses in a row here. 4 losses in a row. So you think they're just trying to tee this one up for Miesha for her return? And, of course, Miesha, gosh, she has not fought in the UFC since before she had a baby. So 2016. I can't believe that was that long ago. Yeah. Wow. So 4.5 years. Insane. And her last 2 fights were losses are Raquel Pennington and Amanda Nunes. So before that, she beat Holly Holm for the championship. Had nice wins for Jessica Eye, Sarah McMahon, Ren Nakaya, and Liz Carmouche. Interesting here. I don't know. In Maryland, you would think with the experience that Miesha would be the older of the two, but Miesha is 34 and Marion now is actually 44. Wow. How about that? Now, Max Holloway, exciting fight. He could have easily just sat back and waited for a title shot, taking on Yair Rodriguez. I mean, Max put on a clinic on UFC ABC 1 against Calvin Kattar. Before that, 2 losses to Volkanovski, and lots of people thought he could have won both of those fights, and many people are very convinced that he did win that second fight for sure, but I don't know. Before that, he's got wins over Frankie Edgar. He moved up to fight Dustin Poirier at 155, but he didn't look like a good version of himself. He just looked like a guy that didn't cut as much weight. He just looked doughy, and I don't think he put a whole lot of effort into like gaining any muscle mass for that one-off, so I don't know. But he's got that win over Brian Ortega. That would be an interesting rematch, after what Brian Ortega showed us against the Korean Zombie. Beats out Jose Aldo twice. Okay, the man, he's the man, the myth, the legend, okay? Yair Rodriguez beat Jeremy Stevens back. Guys, so he hasn't fought since 2019. Interesting. Has win over the Korean Zombie. Like I said, the last second of the last round. He did get beaten by Frankie Edgar. That was back in 2017. And Frankie just took him down over and over again. I do remember that fight. So interesting. So that'll be a good fight. You would think Max would be the sizable favorite, but I do not have odds. We got to wait till July for this. UFC Vegas 32. We have Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. Interesting here. I don't think I'm picking any other fights here or talking about it except for this. But, of course, Dillish had that layoff for over 2 years here for the EPO. But before that, he had wins over Cody Garbrandt twice, John Lineker, Rafael Alonso, did lose to Dominic Cruz. Interesting. But of course, the EPO run was his quest for the 125-pound title, where Henry Cejudo just starched him early. You take a look here at Yair. I'm sorry, Corey Sandhagen. Sorry, wrong division there. Just beat Frank. Just collapsed Frankie Edgar with that flying knee. Win over Marlon Moraes. He got lost. He got choked out quick by Aljamain back in 2020, which I'm pretty sure earned him the title shot. And he's got some impressive wins as well. We'll see what happens. We'll see if TJ can come back strong. Not juiced, but strong. Next up. Oh, baby. UFC 265 Nunes versus Pena. Well, first off, let's talk a little Jose Aldo, Pedro Munez. Aldo looked great against Chito Vera, another impressive win. He's right there back in the title talks. Isn't that crazy? So he beats Marlon Vera. Everyone's counting him out. For that, 3 losses in a row. Petr Yan, Marlon Moraes. Of course, that was a split decision. Many said he beat Marlon Moraes, and this was, and of course, his premier fight at 135. Then his last fights against, 145 pounds were losses to a loss to Alexander Volkanovski, and that's when he decided to say bye-bye. I'm going to 135 pounds. But he before that, he did good. He had a win against Jeremy Stevens, buckled him with body punches, and Renato Moicano. So, interesting. Pedro Munez, of course, just beat Jimmy Rivera in a sick fight. He had lost a split decision to Frankie Edgar. And, of course, unanimous decision to Aljamain Sterling. But he's got wins over Cody Garbrandt, Brian Caraway, Brett Johnson. Okay. So that's a great fight there. Amanda Nunes and Julian Pena. Who else is left, actually, at 135 pounds? She's beaten them all. 145 pounds, too. I think she closed the division, essentially. But, Jermaine Durandame, Holly Holm, Chris Cyborg at 145, Raquel Pennington, Valentina Shevchenko. She beat Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate. Golly, Sarah McMahon, Shayna Baszler. Yeah, interesting. I don't know who beats her. Honestly, that's kind of crazy. And I even looked at Juliana Pena, but she's only got 1 win in her last few fights. Her last 3, she's 1-3. But she did beat Sarah McMahon, but she loses to Jermaine Durandame, got choked out, beats Nico Montano back in 2019. Of course, she has an armbar loss to Shevchenko before Shevchenko moved down to 125 pounds. But she's got wins over Kat Zingano, Jessica Ai. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful. And I did actually get to meet Julia Pena at an Animal Hunter show. But, yeah, I don't know. This is difficult. Difficult to pick here. All right. This fight is confirmed. Very good. UFC Vegas 34, Brunson versus Till. All right. I am looking forward to that. Till got sidelined with that collarbone injury. But Brunson is on a tear since losing to the champ back in 2018. Of course, he was not the champ back then. It was Israel Adesanya. He comes back and beats Elias Theodoro, Ian Heinisch, Edmund Shabazi, and Kevin Holland. And then you got Darren Till. Really, he just lost to Robert Whittaker. But for that, he kind of beats Kelvin Gastelum. And those were his only 2 fights at middleweight. And, he had the 2 losses before that, Georgie Masvidal and Charlon Woodley. Interesting. So, I would think that Brunson would be the favorite here. But, Ooh, and then Costa Cannonier. Paul Costa. Jared Cannonier. UFC Vegas 35. Awesome. Costa has not fought since the champ. He fought the champ back in September last year. So interesting. Before that, like no losses. Yoel Romero, Uriah Hall, Johnny Hendricks, Ali Mangos. Yeah, interesting. And then of course, Kane, you saw him get basically out everything by Robert Whitaker. Before that, he's got wins over Jack Hermanson, Anderson Silva, David Branch. You know, and those were his only middleweight fights before he moved down to from light heavyweight. So interesting. You would think Costa would be the favorite out of that. I don't know. And then UFC 266, Blachowicz versus Teixeira. Glover, what a freaking comeback story it is for Glover. Glover. How can you not be rooting for that guy? I mean, how old is Glover? I need to know right now. Glover is... Where is it? I can always find it when I'm... 41. God bless him. 41. He's got some city miles on him. Blachowicz. I don't think he's a spring chicken either, actually. No, he's 38. So, interesting. He hasn't lost since Diego Santos back in February 2019, and here's his path to the title. It was Luke Rockhold, Jacare Souza, Corey Anderson, and then he beats Dominic Reyes, and then Israel comes up and tries to challenge him and says, nope, you got to learn how to wrestle, son, and you got to gain some weight. Tristan's back. What's up, Tristan? We're talking about Glover and Blachowicz. So, interesting here. But Glover, I mean, turning back time here. Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, man, I thought Anthony Smith was going to win this fight. And the next thing you know, Glover's knocking his damn teeth out. It's insane. Nikita Krylov, Ivan Kutabella. Dude, he really has not lost since Corey Anderson back in 2018. Amazing. Tristan, what do you think about that? What do you think about Glover coming back and being a world beater?
Well, he's been in it for a long time, and then he uses his wrestling a lot. So that's why I think he was able to beat Thiago Santos. But I think here's the thing about Santos. I think he's compromised because he had 2 reconstructive knee surgeries. So I think he's been compromised, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not been the same since that John Jones fight for sure. And the fact that he went on to fight Jones after being terribly injured like that is amazing. But I am glad you brought that up. Diego Santos, Johnny Walker has been announced for January 25th.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know. It's not really saying where this card is, so this may be an upcoming pay-per-view. It's yet to be named, but I don't know about that one. Hopefully Santos comes back. I think Johnny Walker's a bit overrated, but this will be his toughest test to date.
Yeah, definitely. Another person who's going through that problem might possibly is Kevin Lee. He's moving up to welterweight to face Sean Brady. So.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why I didn't have that fight to pick, but yeah, basically he was calling anybody out, and Sean said okay, and they're going to go at it. So be interesting. I don't know. Kevin Lee's so hot and cold, man, and he looked okay against Rafael dos Anjos, just gassed themselves out, kept going for the takedown over and over again. The problem is RDA is a smaller welterweight. Now he's since moved back down to lightweight. So we'll see what Kevin Lee does against a true welterweight. I would like to have seen, of course, a 165-pound division, but don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But you're taking a look here.
Yeah, I think it may be permanent that he's going to stay at welterweight, though.
Good. He needs to. Since, of course, my man, Al Iaquinta, has taken care of him twice. You can also find me on Twitter at Iaquinta Realty if you're into that sort of thing. But Santos has had, I think Rakic is overrated or underrated. He's a good fighter, Alexander Rakic, and he's hilarious when you hear him talk too.
Rakic, but the thing about Rakic, he's been very disappointing in his last 2 fights. When he fought Anthony Smith, he should have finished him. But actually, he said he wanted to prove his wrestling, which made no sense to me. And then I think, in his last match that he fought, I forgot who the opponent was. He looked kind of lackluster. I mean, he won the fight, he did enough, but he kind of looked lackluster to me. So we'll see. I don't think he has a chance against Yuri Prochazka if they fight. So.
let me think here. Who was his last fight? I'm trying to look. I can't remember either now. I kind of lost where he was, but let's see.
I think it was. Wasn't it Thiago Santos? I think.
I'm looking. Hang on here. Yeah, he did. He beat Thiago Santos. That's right. Very good.
Yep. Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
He did. I didn't get the strategy, but he made Anthony Smith look small out there in weak. So I do remember that fight. I'm blanking on the Santos fight for some reason. I'm sure I watched it, but it is what it is.
Because Santos.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because Santos. Remember, Santos had just came back. He fought Glover Teixeira, coming back from the injury, and then he fought again against Alexander Rakic.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm going to spend time with my family or something this weekend. I'm a little lost. There's no UFC, but it is what it is, man. So
yeah, right now I'm watching Cage Fury fighting right now. That's on UFC Fight Pass. So
oh yeah, I got rid of my Fight Pass. I need to get it back because when ESPN Plus came out, I was purging, all of my subscriptions, and that didn't make the list, but. Okay, man. Well, hey, I'm going to end it. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right, man.
Go to AaronSaysWhat.com and click on MMA Fight Picks, and you can find me visually and join me there as well. So, yeah, that's it for now. So until I pick fights again next week, everyone have a great and safe Memorial Day weekend, and shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.
Today's MMA Fight Picks podcast is brought to you by Hero Soap Company. Hero Soap is an all-natural soap with no harsh chemicals and are made with essential oils. This means no lab-made synthetic properties that can irritate sensitive skin. This is why you won't find cotton candy or bubblegum scented products, just real great smelling soap. Best of all, Hero Soap is USA veteran owned, and a percentage of the proceeds from your purchase go directly to veterans and first responders. Hero Soap is packaged in a water and dust-proof resealable bag that will repel the harsh elements so you can take it with you hiking, camping, wherever. Each bar of soap is handmade in Phoenix, Arizona. Every ingredient used to make Hero Soap is sourced from companies right here in the USA. Unlike other lifeless natural soaps, there are tons of great smelling soaps to choose from. Cedarwood with charcoal, relaxing lavender, and my favorite, peppermint plus cool. And fellas, it's so good, it'll make your balls tingle. Simply go to herosoapcompany.com/discount/MMAFP for 10% off your purchase, or just enter promo code MMAFP at checkout if you don't want to type all that in. You can even subscribe and save even more money. Remember, promo code MMAFP for 10% off your purchase. You'll smell great without irritating chemicals, and you'll be giving back to USA veterans and first responders.